Assalamu alaikum. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Today we are focusing on the life of one of the mightiest messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Isa ibn Maryam or Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. He is the 24th in the chronology of the prophets, and there are some 37 verses in the Quran that directly refers to Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. He was a messenger who was primarily sent to bring the people of Israel back to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and back to the divine guidance as was originally intended by Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, by Ishaq alayhi salatu wasalam, by Yaqub, and by Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and by Harun alayhi salatu wasalam. And his struggle was against the hypocrisy that was prevalent at that particular time. His struggle was against the religious establishment that had used the name of God and the message of God to exploit others. It was a struggle against those who had usurped religion and used religion as a means to create exploitative systems in the society, an oppressive system that was trying to basically put people outside the pale of religiosity if they do not accept the authoritarianism and the dictatorial tendencies on the part of the religious leadership of the people of Israel. It was a struggle against turning the houses of God or the synagogues or the places of worship into places of business. It was a struggle against turning religion into a commodity and using it for the purpose of securing the personal and the economic and financial interests of those who were elites, whether they were the elites of religion or the elites of society. It was an attack on the alliance between the forces of business and the forces of religion who had basically come together to exploit the masses and to deprive them of their fundamental and basic rights to pursue their faith in God Almighty. And Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is an embodiment of that struggle. A voice of reason at a time when people had forgotten what the divine guidance and divine message was. A struggle that a lone person can stand up and challenge against the authorities of the religious establishment and against all those who use religion as a means of exploitation. And he is the one who is given the glad tidings or the Injil or the Bushra or the divine message. Unfortunately, what was given to Isa alayhi salatu wasalam was not preserved in his lifetime under his supervision, and part of the Injil was lost, and what we see in the form of New Testament is a recollection of the ideas that many of his disciples or disciples of the disciples remembered and then put in writing some 60 to 90 years after his departure. There is a big controversy about the way Isa alayhi salatu wasalam left this world. There was a group of the religious rabbis at the time of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, or after he left this world, that they were the ones instrumental in getting rid of him by crucifying him. And crucifixion was at that particular time seen as one of the worst kind of deaths, a humiliating deaths. And that the Quran refutes that. Quran says, وَقَوْلِهِمْ إِنَّا قَتَلْنَا الْمَسِيحِ عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ وَمَا سَلَبُوهُ وَلَكِنْ شُبِّهَ لَهُمْ وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ لَفِي شَكٍّ مِّنْهُ ما لهم به من علم إلا اتباع الظن وما قتلوه يقينا. They did not kill him, certainly and definitely. They did not put him to cross. They did not kill him. This is what the assumptions of people are. The Quran absolves the religious hierarchy of the time for this act. Quran does not give us details of what happened to Isa alayhi salatu wasalam when he was being taken to gallows. And based on this kind of this verse, many of the people, and the verse that follows after that, which says that بَلْ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised him to himself. There is, of course, differences of opinion among the scholars. Because this particular expression, بَلْ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ, also is referred to Idris alayhi salatu wasalam. And none of our scholars have ever said that Idris alayhi salatu wasalam was raised to heavens or would come back. Why is it in the context of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam this assertion is being made? And most probably that idea is taken from the biblical sources, from the Christian sources, who believe that 3 days after the crucifixion, Isa alayhi salatu wasalam rose and appeared to Mary, and then disappeared, and he would come back again towards the end of the time. And that is the controversy that also within the Muslim community, that there is two set of scholars, one who believes that Isa alayhi salatu wasalam would come at the end of the time. And of course, there are hadiths that mention about it, but there are also hadiths that mention that Isa alayhi salatu wasalam would not come back, and Isa alayhi salatu wasalam left this world, and Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but rafa'ahu Allahu ilayhi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would raise him to him, it means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would raise his status and would give him the highest positions. Wallahu alam bisawab, that what is the truth, only on the day of judgment we will know what it is. But what is important, that Isa alayhi salatu wasalam became instrumental in basically shaking the foundation of the religious establishment, and Isa alayhi salatu wasalam's ideas basically were communicated to the whole world in a manner that many in our world today follow. A great majority, more than 2.8 billion people all over the world are the followers of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, even though there is a difference of opinion among them. Some of them believe that he was a messenger and the prophet, as we Muslims believe, and some of them, and many of them, believe that he was God, who came in the form of a person, an idea that is neither substantiated by the Old Testament, nor substantiated by the New Testament, nor substantiated by the Quran. But this is what they believe. Or regardless of that, the Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the one who basically teaches the humanity that even though the life is important and the life must be preserved, but we must realize that there comes moment in the life of human beings when the goals of life become more important than the life itself. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وما
We hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to our channel.